Dude, what is up? MPGP.
No. MPGP.
I'm Hayley.
I'm Craig.
MPGP.
What is that on your knee?
What? Where? Oh, that's a scab from when I dropped the air conditioning unit on my leg.
It looks like you've picked at that scab like a million times and it's already a scar.
I have, and it probably will become a scar. I'm definitely I'm not ashamed to say that I am a scab picker. Are you a scab picker?
Not usually. I try to leave them on as long as possible, like that's a Band-Aid, you know?
Yeah. That's actually,
I try to resist.
That's the way, but I don't know. I just if there's something on my body, satisfying. I need to fuck with it, I guess. I'm just especially when I'm stressed.
Oh my god.
Which I always am. So
wow.
We basically almost finished the Saw franchise. We kind of stopped maybe halfway through 6.
Saw 3D.
Yeah, Saw 3D.
What's that? That was 7.
7, yes, 7. We watched 6. Y'all, these Saw movies are crazy, but honestly, each one is very entertaining. I think 3D is probably the worst one so far. So far, because I'm just I
felt like while I was watching it, I was I can't tell if this one is different but still good. Maybe even funner to watch.
Yeah.
Because it was just all gratuity.
Traps. Yeah.
All traps and all just bad acting, not even trying to.
Yeah, and the fucking guy from Linkin Park.
I kind of like that.
There.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess this one, I take it back. Craig's convincing that this one's actually really fun.
It's
but
the
I just
Jason
feel
Goes to Hell of Saw or something.
That is so true. I feel this is the thing with Saw that I notice. It's literally the thing that I noticed with Saw is that it's okay, 1 through 3 are this continuous story, and then as soon as we get to 4, we basically get the whole it's
spoilers for Saw.
Yeah, it's just it explains all of this shit. It adds this new character that apparently was working with Jigsaw the whole time, but now he is Jigsaw, but he's evil, and they're kind of making you think that the real Jigsaw, John, what's-his-face, is
kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah, and you're rooting for him, and I'm this is so weird. Also, I'm just now realizing that the now Jigsaw in Saw 3D killed... Oh, wait, no, he didn't kill the wife. That was just a dream. Okay, never mind. But there is a really nasty scene where she was tied to something, and he drove a weird train thing and shredded her apart. But then she woke up and it was a dream.
Jigsaw's wife.
Yeah, Jigsaw's wife, who in the previous movie, the 6th movie, she put him through a Jigsaw test, but he survived because he's a crazy son of a bitch.
He shoved his the bear trap.
Yeah, it was a reverse bear trap.
He shoved it into his cell bars.
Yeah.
To prevent it from opening all the way, but it still ripped part of his face.
Ugh, so fucking gross. I hate that guy. I'm so annoyed that I'm just
maybe the most evil cop in a movie.
Yeah.
Up there.
Yeah. What are some
besides most evil
Maniac.
currently employed? He still goes into work every day, and he's the Jigsaw killer.
Oh yeah. And it was so frustrating because I think this was also in the 6th one. He was so close to being caught, and then he just killed everyone. But now I think everyone. I think by the time it gets to... Actually, I don't know if in 3D... I think in 3D he just disappears. That's what people think. I don't know if there's an active police... Oh, wait, no, there is. There is a detective.
Yeah, there is.
And actually,
he's
he, like,
pretending
knows.
to be...
Okay,
He's pretending to be a victim.
Yeah.
But he's not. And that's what gets him to be a victim.
Yeah.
He was pretending for sympathy or something. The plot is insane. There's no plot.
Yeah, one day I feel like we should have, like, an episode in the future that just goes... we need to, like, do the Saw episode. And, like, we need to do some research, do the whole fucking canon, like, basically reorder the fucking things, or, like... You know how you can...
Yeah, make a timeline flow chart.
I'm sure someone...
Beginning, middle to end.
I feel like someone out there probably has been, like, every Saw scene made in order of, like, the timeline or whatever. And then you just watch from, like, the first Saw till 3D. And then you just, like, watch the whole series play out in order. And I'm sure, like, scenes from fucking, like... Saw 6 are gonna be before
some of that, that would be impossible though, because
it's crazy.
It would be incoherent, because probably the movie, if you just started with the earliest scene in the Saw timeline, you would start with like a flashback of Jigsaw, like, going on his first dates with his wife.
Yeah, like, literally.
Like, the movie would start and it would be Jigsaw, like, frolicking with his, like, girlfriend.
No, like, seriously,
because that's, like, the early...
And it would be all of the, like, Jigsaw flashback scenes where it explains, like, why he trapped the insurance agent in there and all that shit. It would be, like, all this shit. That would be, like, the first thing, where he finds out he has cancer.
Yeah.
Then he finds out that he can't get covered for the
It would
therapy.
be, like, an origin story.
Yeah.
It would be, like, a anti-hero origin story.
Yeah. Whereas, like, in the first Saw, you're just like, oh my god, that son of a bitch was just, like, lying there the whole time. What a sick, twisted fuck. And then, like, by the 7th one, you're literally like, go, John! Like, it's so weird.
Well, that actor is, like, surprisingly likable.
Yeah. I'm also really glad that he's just, like, keeps being in the movies.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Some of the movies, I don't like his performance. It's very, like, stiff and awkward. Mm-hmm. Honestly, he reminds me kind of Donald Trump, like, the way he talks.
Oh, I could see that.
Where, like, his face isn't moving, just, like, his tiny lips are just, like, mumbling words.
See that.
Not to be too disrespectful to this guy.
Yeah.
Comparing him to Donald Trump, but something about some of his performances are not my favorite. Like, it's not my favorite character.
Yeah.
But I still like the guy a lot. Like, that actor.
Tobin Bell.
Yesterday we watched Joe Bob, as we always do on Fridays now. And I'm, like, obsessed with Joe Bob. Not the character, but, like, the last drive-in show. Yeah. Like, I love that show.
It's so good.
I guess it is just basically movies with Joe Bob added.
Yeah.
Like, Joe Bob scenes added. So maybe I do love Joe Bob, but I don't know. It's just, like, a fun way to watch movies.
Yeah.
And also that it's a surprise what movie they choose, and there's always, like, interesting commentary. So yesterday's was Train to Busan, which we'd seen before, and then Spookies, which we haven't seen before. Yeah. But we fucking loved, or at least Hayley kind of fell asleep at the second movie, because at that point it was like 2 a.m. or something.
Yeah, I'm looking for... I saw the way beginning, and I saw the way end. And I was like, damn, this seems cool. And apparently I missed a Spookies rap.
Hey, you're watching Spook.
Okay. Hey,
it's a really confusing movie. If I had to explain the plot of Spookies simply, I would probably say a group of people go to an abandoned mansion and realize, like, Phantasm style, if you've seen Phantasm, that there's this, like, got, like, this supernatural, like, guy manifesting these, like, demons and monsters and devil spawn and he's like doing ritualistic like sacrifices or some shit to try to bring his ex-wife back to life. She's in all white and trapped in a box, and she apparently killed herself because she didn't want to be with this guy anymore. Crazy plot.
Mm-hmm.
He's like obsessed with her and still in love with her. I don't think they were even married, but maybe they were. I think that she mentioned at one point that they had a child. So I'm confused, but she like is disgusted by him and hates him. And that guy who's masterminding this whole satanic ritual, it also has very big Ghoulies vibes, I feel like.
Yeah.
With the mansion and the satanic shit.
Yeah.
But anyways, this satanic ritual cult leader, or it's not even a cult, it's just one guy, and his lackey, which is a werecat, which means human man in cat face paint makeup with fangs. Werecat.
I would be a werecat over a werewolf, I think.
I don't know. He kind of comes off the werecat. Joe Bob commented on this like in one of his like interludes, but he was so right. Like the werecat does not do anything. Like he just watches. Like he's running around this group of people, just like running through his house, and he's just like scowling. Like he comes on the screen, he's like, ah! And he like watches them and like throws his hands up and then like bounces around and like runs away. I'm like, what are you fucking doing, dude? Are you gonna do something? Anyways, there's tons of monsters. It's like extremely low budget, mishmash together footage from two different movies, like weird special effects like choices are made. It seems like very Evil Dead in its special effects. Like I'm thinking of the end of Evil Dead where they're using like creamed corn as and food coloring as like a special effect for this like stop motion animation.
Yeah.
It's like they use like stop motion animation and like puppets that are really funny. A lot of stop motion animation with puppets. It's great. Spookies was really cool. There's fart monsters that fart. It's like these monster mummy like zombies.
Yeah. I was asleep during that scene, but Craig showed me this morning.
Apparently they're called the Muckmen. And they come on and it's just like a dubbed fart over top of
it's so
this
funny.
footage of these like Muckmen.
Okay, so last week we reviewed Jason X, an excellent movie. I mean, you know, it's in our hearts. So
it is fun.
That was the first of the final 3 of the Friday the 13th franchise. When it's almost over.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
We only have one more movie, and then we've watched and reviewed every Jason movie.
Yeah. So, you know, try not to cry, everyone. So, the next movie that we're going to be doing, the second to last Friday the 13th movie we're going to review is Freddy versus Jason from 2003. Yeah.
2003.
2003, baby. Wow. So, obviously from what we've talked about in the past, like, New Line has been wanting to brew this for a while.
Yeah. And also, the Friday the 13th films, their titles were getting increasingly more complex with, like, Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also just Friday the 13th Part 9, because it comes after Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. And that's usually stylized with Roman numerals.
Yeah.
But numbers for the 13.
I mean, I guess since it is a crossover film, technically, it wouldn't be because they're probably at different points in each of their respective franchises, right? How many nightmares were there?
I actually think that there were a few more Nightmare on Elm Street films, but
Yeah.
I'm not positive on that. It might have been the exact same.
Damn.
I haven't seen all of them. I think I've seen all the way up to 6, maybe?
Yeah.
Or whichever one is the final Friday or whatever.
Or the final nightmare.
Yeah, we watched... God damn it, yeah.
They're literally
the final
always,
nightmare.
Always.
Or, like... What the fuck is the one we just watched? It's
Oh,
everyone's least favorite one, and we actually liked it.
it was the one... It must have happened right after the baby one.
Yeah, he's like, now you're playing with power, or whatever, and it's like the Nintendo Power Glove.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
makes the character bounce around like he's Mario to his death.
Oh my god, fuck. I don't even remember which one that was. God
now
damn
you're
it.
playing with power, bitch.
Dude, okay, Freddy KRUEGER literally says bitch after every sentence. I feel like Too Short definitely copped Freddy KRUEGER's style.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fucking say it right here. Too Short's always like, bitch is my thing. Bitch! Like, why they gotta say it like Short? Like, no, why you gotta say it like Freddy KRUEGER, Too Short? So, obviously, Freddy vs. Jason has been years and years and years, like, maybe decades even, in the making. And from the Scream Factory DVD Blu-ray collection that we have, DVD Blu-ray.
Laserdisc.
The Blu-ray that we have has a bunch of special features, and something that I learned was that there were 17 drafts of the script, and one of, like, the idea with the most, like, drafts was that Jason was brought back somehow by a Freddy KRUEGER cult. The Freddy heads.
That was a possibility for this movie.
That was like, I feel like that was like really close to being like a thing, because that's like, apparently, I mean, this was like rewritten a bunch of fucking times. Like, it was like we said in the last episode, a big reason why Jason X like came out basically, like, was a fucking movie,
stall for time.
Exactly. So they were just like trying to figure this shit out. I mean, it's like a lot. I mean, it's two fucking franchises that have like fan bases that are, I feel like, really, really hard to please. So I understand, but
also at this point, there's like already the internet. People are going on to the internet now and like spreading rumors about Freddy versus Jason, and like the fan base is like wanting this to happen because there was this fucking movie, Jason Goes to Hell, that has Freddy's glove in it, and it just like feeds into that, like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a Freddy versus Jason movie, like that's a possibility.
And that was a decade,
and they just had to wait and like just like go off of rumors and like speculate on what the movie is gonna be like. So I imagine that's probably why I remember people not liking it when it came out.
Yeah.
Because all of the fans were like, I want to fucking see this like incredible masterpiece, Freddy versus Jason.
It's like, what were y'all fucking expecting?
Like, it's still gonna be low budget. Like, you gotta remember that these movies, while they are like really popular, I feel like they don't ever give these horror movies a big enough budget.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Anyways, do you remember when it came out? Like, I remember.
I don't. I mean, what, 2003? I was not in.
I was a child.
Yeah.
But I remember like my brother. My brother was definitely a teenager, or like in college at this point. And I remember him talking to me about it when I was like really young.
Oh.
I remember going to the movies and seeing the poster
Yeah.
Because, like, when you're a kid, like, even just seeing, like, Freddy's, like, melted skin and, like, the machete and, like, the evil looks on the poster, that's already,
that sticks
like...
with you. You're like,
That's
this is
scary
intense.
Yeah, I probably, like, caught a glimpse of that poster out the corner of my eye as a child, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Like,
Bruh,
I just, like, saw it and then, like, thought about it all night.
Bruh, I'm just trying to see Finding Nemo in peace.
We were so young when this movie came out.
Yeah,
but
dude.
Another thing I remember is, like, I seem to remember people talking about this movie for a while after it came out. At least, like, kids.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. It's like, these Versus movies are so... It's such, like, a kid idea. Like, kids love shit like that.
Yeah.
Crossover stuff and, like...
Mm-hmm.
Big, like, action, like... Because it gives you something to, like, talk about with your friends, I guess. Like, who's gonna win, Freddy or Jason?
Yeah,
you know?
like, literally. It's, like, super... I feel like it's super fan servicey and super,
yeah,
like...
it's fan service.
It's super, like... I don't know. Like... That's such a, like... I feel like that idea in general is very, like, childlike. Where it's literally, like... Okay, Jason's really scary and Freddy's really scary. Like, what would happen if they, like, faced each other? Like, I could picture having that conversation in a fucking lunchroom or something as, like, a 5th grader. Being just like, what are your thoughts?
Or it's, like, the argument of... Are you a Freddy fan? Are you a Nightmare fan or a Friday fan? Like, which one do you identify with?
Yeah.
Like,
swim to this side of the pool if you're Team Freddy. Swim to that side of the pool if you're Team Jason.
Well, that being said, are we Team Freddy or Jason? We love Jason.
Yeah.
We love Freddy too, but...
I think after this fucking movie, I'm Team Jason all the way because Freddy is so problematic.
Well, you also have to think about it like this, too. Freddy is supposed to be evil.
Yeah. I mean, they're both evil.
I know, that's what, like, they're both evil, but Jason just can't speak. That's not part of his character. I feel like, there's nothing good that Jason would say if he could speak.
Yeah,
like,
he wouldn't be like, yo, man, that's fucked up. Like, he would just be like...
He wouldn't be like, cool shoes.
I'm so glad that they made the decision to just have Jason never talk because, like, literally...
That's so easy, though, when you think about it.
I know, but that makes something so much more scary. Like, Freddy is
It does,
just
but that's
funny.
why it's easy. They try to make Freddy scary by having him say, like, fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, lick, like, photos of children and stuff.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's talk about the prologue... Or, it's not really the prologue, it's the first... it's the prologue. Like, the opening scene, we hear the Nightmare on Elm Street theme, and we kind of go into Freddy's backstory, and we see him... You need to remind me of the actor's name. What's his name that plays Freddy?
Robert Englund.
We see him alive as Robert Englund in these flashback sequences where he's, like, literally, like, murdering children, and he licks the photograph of, like, a 6-year-old girl, basically. Freddy was, like, really... I mean, I always knew that he was a child murderer and maybe other things...
I believe they say in, like, one of the early Nightmare on Elm Street's child murderer. He was a child killer. Like, when they explain who Freddy Krueger was, they, like, talk about it, and they say things like, yeah, that night that we all, like, killed that child killer, Krueger. Or it'll, like, flash to a newspaper thing. It's like, child murderer, Krueger. Yeah. So, I think they explicitly made it not like he's a pedophile before.
Yeah.
But then, as the series went on, like, I know certain movies have explored that he might have been, like, this pedophile dude. Maybe just this one, but...
Yeah.
what do you like?
I
That's a
feel like,
controversial
honestly,
choice, I think.
Yeah.
Because he is liked by so many people, and pedophiles are one of the most despised, like, groups of people, I guess.
I honestly feel like they might have explored that in the reboot. For some reason, I'm like...
I saw that remake in theaters, but I can't remember.
I feel like they may have done something, like, where... I don't know. But anyways... We go into Freddy's backstory, and he starts to kind of, like, lament that he is being forgotten, so he's basically powerless, but he meets Jason Voorhees in hell, and knows that he can manipulate the situation to basically brings Jason back from the dead by going into his death dream. So, like, Jason's asleep, quote unquote, but he's, like, dead and in hell. But
Pam Voorhees does say later in the movie, or maybe even in his death dream, Jason, you're never really dead. You're always gonna come back or whatever. Like,
yeah. So I guess maybe
she says, like, even though, or maybe another character gives that bit of exposition where they're like,
oh, the cop
keeps dying and coming back.
Yeah, the cop
returning from his grave.
Yeah. So Freddy, in Jason's dream, in air quotes, Freddy is taking on the guise of Pamela Voorhees and basically manipulating Jason into going to Elm Street to kill teenagers, and basically it's like the idea is that he's supposed to, like, get the fear going by, like, starting to murder these kids, and then once the fear starts, then Freddy, I guess, can easily get into their dreams, and then he gets into the dream of the main girl, Lori, and is basically like, warn everyone, because I'm back, Freddy's back, like, tell all of your friends or whatever. And then, like, Lori and, like, 2 people that escaped from a psych ward basically tell everyone that Freddy Krueger is back, and therefore solidifying that Freddy Krueger can come back and kill people in their dreams.
Yeah, so the basic, like, rule for Freddy coming back is that he needs to be in the fears of, like, young people or whatever. He needs to be, like, he can't be forgotten.
Yeah.
If Freddy is forgotten and no one knows the story of Freddy and they're not afraid because they don't know
who he is.
Yeah. If they can erase all record of Freddy, then they can effectively kill him.
Yeah.
But as long as someone knows about who Freddy is, he has, like, some power to come back and some, like, sway in convincing other people of his existence and therefore gaining... He's kind of like Pennywise the clown.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like this town goes at length to erase all records of Freddy. I think the police chief mentions that it's been 4 years of peace, aka the last time any Freddy-related incident was 4 years ago, when they decided to basically... They quarantined all the people that were seeing Freddy in their dreams. So all of the, like, teens or whatever are, like, locked away in a wing of a hospital, like, in a permanent coma with, like, the drug that makes them not dream, Hypnosil. So they're just, like, being pumped full of Hypnosil and just, like, asleep forever in some hospital somewhere. 2 characters have been locked away in a psych ward.
Is that really the best way to quarantine these people? Like, isn't there a different way? So
I don't
Freddy
know.
gets
what
to
would
them.
You do?
Freddy gets to them through their dreams.
Yeah.
So they have to put them into a medically induced coma and then
pump them.
Give them a dream suppressant.
Okay,
is that really the best way to keep Freddy,
Yeah. My question is, if you
can you not make them forget about Freddy to where they just wouldn't dream about him?
I don't know if you can.
I guess you'd have to lobotomize them.
Yeah, it's like weird, but my question is, if Hypnosil causes you to not dream, why not just put Hypnosil in the fucking town water supply? Or like everyone that lives in everyone that lives in the fucking town.
You're calling for eco-terrorism.
No, dude, but like seriously, like why isn't it just like a requirement that everyone just takes Hypnosil every fucking day until they're like 18 and then they're fine? Because he doesn't.
Hayley, you're being pro big pharma,
dude. But like, I'm sorry, this is like.
You're saying I want them to put the drugs in the water supply.
If it's gonna prevent Freddy Krueger without fucking locking people up and making them in a
clean
coma.
water. You have to drink the drugged water. This is Brave New World.
Hypnosil. I'm pro Hypnosil.
Wow, that says a lot about you. I'm pro Hypnosil.
Wow, are you an anti dream suppressant?
Yeah. You know what's funny is I don't
You're
really
a Freddy
dream.
head.
I don't really dream. I think one of the reasons why the nightmare movies never like really resonated with me is because I don't have dreams like what they have in the movie at all. Like I don't really have nightmares that often. I don't usually have dreams that I can remember. Every now and then I'll wake up and remember what was going on in my dream, but it fades away within like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I literally throughout the day could not tell you what I dreamed about.
Well, that's good in the
there will be one that slips through the cracks or something. Maybe it's like,
what's the last dream you remember?
I always try to figure out what causes dreams that I have.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're so rare that if I, like, wake up and I do remember it, I'm like, oh, I must have been, like, really high or something. Or like, ate candy. What did I do that, like, caused me to,
remember the dream?
This dream, this one time out of, like, every 6 months or a year or something.
I had a dream last night, and I woke up, and the first thing I said to Craig was, I had a dream we went to Coney Island.
I love hearing other people's dreams.
It was fun. I dream a lot.
Did you notice that, like, the first half of this movie is very Freddy-centric?
Yeah.
Didn't it just seem like you were watching a Freddy movie, like, for a lot of the movie?
It kind of feels like this is a Freddy movie.
It's a nightmare movie.
Yeah, I would say that it feels like because you begin it in like
in
basically it's set primarily in Elm Street, and I feel like Freddy is using Jason as part of his plan, and he becomes uncontrollable to Freddy until eventually they have to face off. But it's like,
before we get too far,
but it also could be it also could be that we think that it's like Freddy's main character because he's the one that's talking. He's the one we see first. He's the one we see first, and he's the one that talks. Second half is pretty Jason heavy, though.
That's the problem with Jason, is like Jason, one of the reasons I like the Friday the 13th format so much is like, it's kind of like Jaws or something, where Jason is like a force and he's like a character in the movie, but he isn't a traditional character. He's like something that the other characters respond to. Yeah. And I think that's why it's so good for these movies to actually have characters that are interesting in some way. Yeah. And that's why part 7 we didn't like it that much, is because you do have to spend a lot of time with the characters because they can speak. Jason isn't going to give you any exposition. Yeah. And there's like Jason is this force that comes in and like finds you, and then you have to react. Whereas Freddy plays more of like an active role in like delivering the story, and like the character of Freddy is developed like a lot more just because he can speak. But they did a good job of like going through Jason's backstory.
Yeah.
I actually liked the Jason flashbacks, and I liked how much it looked like the original Friday the 13th Part 1 Jason character. It looked like a chubbier version of that Jason character.
Yeah, that was good. I liked the child Jason, and I liked just jumping forward to the first Freddy vs. Jason face-off, which is where Freddy attacks Jason from the dream.
Yeah. And that's when he gets rained on.
Yeah, so Freddy doesn't know what, like, they're basically just fighting man-to-man, mano-a-mano, and then basically Freddy introduces water, I think like a valve breaks or whatever, and there begins to have like a waterfall, and Jason reverts to his inner child. So, like, he's just a small...
Which
like,
there is precedent for.
Yeah.
Which is another interesting thing. Like, the movie makes weird decisions, I noticed. Like, just the decision that Freddy is in control of Jason and using Jason as a conduit to do his killing. But that's, like, part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2, like, Freddy's not really the person doing the killing. It's the lead actor.
Yeah.
The
He's
Scream Queen.
possessing. Yeah.
Freddy, there's precedent for that plot device. There's precedent for Jason, like, dying or being rained on with sewage and then turning into his inner child.
Yeah, in
like, it was
Jason
the same
Takes Manhattan.
scene.
Yeah, that's
kinda.
what I literally was like, this feels so much like Jason Takes Manhattan. This is, like,
Which is cool.
Crazy. Yeah.
Especially since, like, people don't really... I feel like it would be... It's not like Jason Takes Manhattan is, like, considered the best movie in the franchise or anything.
Yeah.
So it would be weird to, like, reference this one, like, smaller plot device. Or, I don't even know if you call that a device, because we still aren't decided on what we make of that scene where Jason melts away and turns into a child.
Yeah.
Did that really happen? Is that how Jason died? Like... What?
I mean, you know, stranger things have happened in this franchise.
It makes more sense in the dream, in the nightmare.
But in, like, the actual reality in Jason Takes Manhattan, I mean, like, honestly, I feel like I'm at the point in this series where it's literally like, anything you give me, I'll just accept as fact.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay. Even if, like, the next movie that comes out, they're like, let's retcon everything. I'll just be like, sure, Jan. Like, what the fuck ever. I don't care. But it is interesting that the water causes Jason to revert back to his inner child. I guess, like, I mean, that is, like, the main fear, because, like, I guess in the first movie he did drown, like, and he did die.
It makes perfect sense, like, when you think about
it,
but just the fact that, like, it would make sense that would be Jason's weakness if you had to pinpoint one, and also it gives this duality to the movie where
fire
it's like,
and water.
How did Freddy die? Freddy was, like, burned alive in this furnace that he was shoved into. So he has, like, a fear of fire, maybe.
Yeah.
Or, like, he's like it's not a fear of fire, that's, like, his element or whatever. And Jason's element is water.
Yeah.
But it just seems odd to make him afraid of water when for literally, like, from Jason 6, Jason Lives on, like, 7 and 8, he's underwater a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he's, like, trapped underwater.
Yeah, like, for...
years and years.
For the end of Jason Lives to part 7, New Blood.
Yeah.
He's, like, fully underwater, chained to the the floor of Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah. Then he's pinned down again in the water, and it's, like, it's also weird because, like, specifically in 3D... like, this is where the, like, Jason afraid of water plot, not plot, like storyline has its inconsistency, because in 3D, and maybe even like in more, even in fucking part 7, like there's all these random like underwater, there's all these random, Jason goes into the water to kill someone. Yeah. Jason goes into the water to fucking...
I mean, think about the just the first movie. Where does Jason come from when he attacks Alice on the boat? He comes out of the water, and that's how we're introduced to Jason. He can live underwater. Yeah. He's a fish man.
Gills, if you will.
Like, he drowned and survived.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And also there's in, I guess that's part 3. Maybe, what's the one where the character has the flashback? I guess that's part 7. Sorry.
Which flashback?
Part 7, there's the flashback of the girl falling into the water, and Jason's underwater. Mm-hmm. Like, the dad says, or uncle, or
it's
guardian, or whatever, is like, you're going to learn how to swim, and if I'm going to throw you into the water.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, it's the uncle.
Part 8, which is a very water-heavy movie, because they're in a boat. Camp Crystal Lake to Manhattan, which is across New Jersey, like across the Hudson River.
Yeah.
So the entire time it's on the boat. Anyways, Jason's definitely in and around the water.
Yeah. So it's like very, I don't know. It is interesting. It is a choice that makes sense, but also that doesn't make sense. Two things can be true at the same time in this case. And especially...
It makes sense for this movie,
yeah,
though.
For this movie, it's like... And it's a golden choice, especially when we get to more of the Camp Crystal Lake scenes and seeing baby Jason being, like, bullied by the kids.
I will say that the plot of this movie, I feel like is actually kind of good.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. At least it explains certain, like, plot holes, maybe. Mm-hmm. Or, like, how Jason got back. It's, like, at least given some explanation.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the whole thing is a fan service. But if you're a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and all of the movies in that series, you'll see where it's, like, referencing movies in the past. Yeah. And it's, like... true to the lore. Like, they say what actually happened. They got it right, at least. You know what I mean? It's not like some...
Yeah, it's not just
if you're it's not disrespectful to the franchise.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
Even though it does, like, kind of retcon that one thing, but, like, so do all of the movies. Like, we'll retcon what they have to make their movie work. I mean, that's what happened with the second movie, right? But just bringing Jason back to life, they're like, yeah, he's actually didn't drown.
Yeah. And it's also like, we keep talking about this where it's just like, it's fun to see filmmakers take risks with the series, or like experiment, or like take things in a direction that you didn't even go to before. And I know that, like, if there was like criticism of this movie, like, at the time, I feel like it's just because it's been such a long time in the making or whatever, you know.
Also, I think, like, there were certain filmmaking, at the time that this movie came out, I think, like, a lot of what we're looking back on with, like, nostalgia goggles on, it would have been more, like, eye-rolly, like, the new metal and shit. Like, like, imagine if, like, that, if you just, like, if you thought that music was trash, or if you still do, I guess it makes the movie kind of less enjoyable. But I really, like, don't like new metal.
Yeah.
I mean, I like certain elements, maybe, like, but I don't listen to that shit. Yeah. And I think it's, like, silly as fuck. And it's, like, dude bro metal. So, I imagine that being worse at the time.
Yeah.
Like, if I were to go see a movie today and it was just, like, full of subtle references to, like, contemporary life.
Yeah.
And, like, Zoomer culture, I would be rolling my eyes the entire time. I would probably say the movie was trash. But looking back on it now, I'm like, oh, at least I don't have to put up with that all the time.
Yeah. Dude, if Freddy vs. Jason was filmed and released now, they would definitely do, like, a fucking TikTok thing.
Oh my god.
There would literally be a kill.
The teens would be doing TikToks.
There would be a kill where the teens would be doing TikToks and Jason just, like, walks up and he looks down and he just fucking machetes them, like...
Please don't put that energy into the world. I don't want a new, like... Friday the 13th movie to reference TikTok.
I feel like it's gonna happen. We're gonna not this franchise. I don't think they would do that, but like we're gonna get some kind of fucking kill that involves TikTok in some horror movie soon. I feel like that's gotta happen.
Maybe like like when quarantine first. Everyone went into quarantine.
Yeah.
Those 2 movies came out that
were about quarantine.
They're like horror.
Yeah.
There was a horror, like webcam Zoom call horror meeting.
I saw.
But
there's one called Unfriended that was before quarantine times. That I saw. They're dumb. They're so dumb, but I mean it's a good way to make something cheaply.
Yeah.
Once Freddy unleashes Jason to Elm Street, basically the story centers around this group of friends. And the main girl is Lori. There's, she has 2 friends. One of them is Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I knew she was familiar, and I honestly just, like, I think her hair was, like, throwing me off, because it was, like...
dyed red.
Yeah. But yeah, that's her. Love Destiny's Child. She was good in this, honestly. She, like, told off Freddy, but then she got, like, fucking butchered by Jason, so that was sad. But, anyways, and then, like, her love interest, who's, like, one of the psych ward patients, like, a few other dudes, basically. That's the whole gang. Oh, and this girl that, like, her name's, like, Gibbs or something. She likes getting fucked up and wearing, like, baseball hats.
The one who's always smoking a cigarette?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the movie sort of, like... the action starts at Lori's house. She lives in the iconic Elm Street house, I think.
That
like,
Nancy lived in.
Yes. So they're all home alone, and basically Jason shows up and kills Gibbs's asshole fucking boyfriend. Like, so that's the first kill of the movie. And then that sort of sets off this chain of events where people are dying, people are scared. Everyone's like, is Freddy back? This seems like a Freddy kill. So the whole police station, or like all the police know about Freddy. They're all like...
they're finally all on board.
Yeah, like literally...
the existence of Freddy.
Like, in what other fucking franchise... do you see, like, the police being like, oh, yeah, like, we know that it's this killer that attacks people in their dreams? Like, no other fucking movie. But eventually they get to that point, I guess, so... but it is not Freddy. It is our boy Jason. Freddy is not strong enough to...
well, Jason under the possession of Freddy.
Well, Jason's not necessarily possessed by Freddy.
I thought he was. I thought he was in the same way that Part 2 guy was. Like, remember, he was still going around to school and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just when, like...
He would sleep?
Not even when he would sleep. Just every now and then, like, I think he would just... Freddy would activate his killing power or something, like, and his like hand would turn into Freddy's glove and he'd kill.
So this is why I think that he's not possessed. I think he's more so manipulated by Freddy, because Jason comes back on his own accord. Freddy gets him there by pretending to be his mom. But but when Jason kills, like, it's not necessarily that Freddy gets his power back. There's just, he feels the fear. So that's why so the second kill is like that other like loser dude who's on the porch with his dad. He falls asleep. Freddy like approaches and is like, he like does a swipe at him like that would kill him normally. But the guy goes, I'm okay. And then he just, like, runs away.
Yeah.
And then wakes up, and Freddy's like, not strong enough, but I think my friend will take care of the job until I'm
immediately
ready.
Kills, like, 2 people.
Yeah. He, like, Jason decapitates his dad's head, but, like, it's still on his body. So when the guy wakes up, he's like, Dad? And then... he sees the head fall off, and then he gets killed by Jason, which was brutal.
So do you think Jason just, like, swiped the machete across his head, and then his head just fell back down onto the neck and rested there until it fell over into his lap? Or do you think Jason cut his head off, the head fell down, and then Jason had to, like, balance the head back onto the torso to set up this little, like...
scene
gag. Like, but one thing about Freddy and Jason in this movie, you're right, it's not like total possession of Freddy, but he is kind of like, I think he put him back on the earth, and now he's like pointing him in different directions using his like dream persuasion powers. Like, he's like tapped into like Jason's subconscious.
Yeah.
And he's
that's
influencing him to like go to Elm Street, go to this house, kill these people. Like, Jason, his motivation is Crystal Lake. Mm-hmm. So he is being like manipulated to care about this Elm Street bullshit. He like doesn't.
That's true.
But he's being like, you're right, he's being pointed in the direction. Yeah. But it's like Freddy is in his dreams, like, giving him subtle, like, subconscious hints to do different things under the, like, Pamela Voorhees nightmare.
He uses that later on the flip side to kind of, like, punish Jason, if you will, or, like, try to kill him, honestly, because it's getting out of hand.
Oh, yeah.
And so far, Freddy... at this point in the story is like super stoked on what Jason's doing. Everything's sort of falling into place for his plan because Lori overhears the police say Freddy's name. So when she falls asleep, Freddy's able to infiltrate her dreams, and we get the classic like fucking kids jump roping, doing the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. That 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab a crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again. Yay!
You remembered it.
Was it lock your doors?
I think so.
What's
that? It sounded right when you did it just now.
There's no fucking good that'll do, I'll tell you that. But anyways, she sees that. She sees a child with her eyes gouged out, which is very disturbing. She basically is the one that tells Lori to warn everyone. Then I guess like the next big event is the corn rave.
Which is a great scene.
amazing scene. Basically, they're just like, let's party, like, in this fucking sick-ass corn.
They're partying in this small town, basically, after their friends died.
Yeah.
Like, they're the peers of their friends who died, and they're just having a rave, like, the same night they got the news.
And,
it just seems
yeah,
so,
like, they're literally just like, let's distract ourselves by fucking raging. And I think, like, one of the characters is like, safety in numbers, like, they're wrong about that, though. So, basically, the whole friend group goes to this party. Gibbs gets fucked up and basically passes out in a corn maze, but we don't know that she's passed out immediately. We see her basically following her dead boyfriend's, like, body being puppeteered by something. Basically being like, come on, babe, like, don't make me ask twice. Like, saying shit that he said in the first scene, because he's, like, kind of a piece of shit. And basically, he lures her into a Freddy nightmare where Freddy is going to, like, kill Gibbs. But we see her body is being, like, kissed on and, you know, groped at by this, like, random raver guy.
Raver who saw her, like, pass out over here.
So she is hiding from Freddy, and basically right before Freddy is about to kill her, she sort of, like, starts bleeding from her mouth and, like, acts like she got stabbed, but Freddy hasn't touched her. And we go back to outside of the dream, and we see that Jason has shown up and stabbed the raver who was on top of Gibbs and flung the raver, like, all the way away. But, like, he killed the unconscious Gibbs, and basically she disappeared from the nightmare before Freddy could kill her. And
another stab through...
two people, like, getting
on top of each other
kebabbed.
or whatever. It's like Jason has done that.
Yeah, that's definitely a callback. Then, basically, Jason stumbles upon these, like, two bro-y dudes. He twists the head off one of them. The other one catches him on fire, and then runs away. Jason, who
chases after him,
fully on fire with a flaming machete,
and he's burning the corn. He's leaving a trail of fire behind him in the corn maze.
And then he just shows up, flings the fucking machete. The guy gets stabbed through the fucking chest.
The machete's on fire.
Yeah.
When it stabs him through the chest.
Mm-hmm. And then, literally, he just bodies, like, a fuck ton of teens at this corn maze party.
He goes on, like, this is one of the first Jason killing sprees.
Yeah.
Where it's one scene where Jason kills, like, 10 people. He, like, clears a fucking field. Basically. He starts, like, killing a bunch of people all at once.
There literally was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 kills.
And probably more people that...
Yeah, that just didn't get, like, even counted in this. It was a lot of fucking kills at this scene. It was wild. Great scene, though. But, basically, the teens, like, all know that they know it's Freddy. They know they need to figure out what to do to beat Freddy. And then there's, like, one cop that I guess, like, moved to Elm Street or, like, to the town. What's it called? Springdale? Spring something? Whatever. There's one, like, newbie... Springwood. Yeah, I think that's it. There's one, like, newbie cop that knows about Jason. So basically they combine forces and they're like, okay, we're gonna, like, figure out a plan to, like, kill Jason and kill Freddy. I think they're gonna start with Freddy, though. So...
Yeah, it's Springwood, Ohio.
Springwood. Ohio? How did they get to... Okay.
You must go to Springwood, Ohio, Jason. Walk all the way from New Jersey.
Bro,
without
this
getting
makes
caught.
No sense. Okay.
Maybe he teleported.
Literally, but okay. So, we already kind of talked about the hospital, and we talked about the first Freddy vs. Jason, like, face-off, where Jason and Freddy are, like, in the dream. We should talk about
we didn't fully talk about that.
Yeah, I know.
Because there's a scene in that first fight where Freddy is controlling Jason with dream magic and making him float around the room.
Yeah.
And Jason is being pinballed against all of the walls of the, like, burner factory, the fucking... wherever Freddy's always at, the boiler room. Mm-hmm. Jason, and literally the pinball sound effect is happening while Jason's bouncing off walls.
That was really delightful.
To see Jason fly around her. Like,
yeah.
They really treat Jason like a big oaf.
Yeah.
In this movie. They're like, you're a dumb dude who gets pointed around and, like, that he's, like, being manipulated and shit. And then he doesn't ever get to speak or, like, do anything. Freddy talks all this shit. All Jason can do is just, like, attack when he's like in arm's length. Like,
yeah. It's so funny. I honestly, like, love that they combine these two because, like, Freddy is so weird and goofy, and it's fun to see Jason interacting with that and seeing Jason in this light that we kind of haven't seen. I mean, like, even though he's not, like, it's not like he's saying, like, bitch or anything, but, like, seeing him, like, the pinball thing, like, that is something that would not happen in previous Friday the 13th movies.
Jason wouldn't be, like, the butt at the end of a joke.
The gag is always with the Friday the 13th movies, someone being like, oh, what? Is Jason Voorhees gonna come kill me? And then Jason just standing there, like, towering over them, and they're like, the victim's always the butt of the joke. So it's, like, cool to see.
Yeah, and Freddy, what...
Anybody got a wine opener?
Even more so, Freddy makes jokes while he kills people, and he kills people in comical ways to, like, humiliate them and, like, play with them, like, he's fucking using them like toys or dolls or something. So, and he also, he has, like, the dream magic where he can just make anything happen. So he can make you bounce around like a pinball, or, like, turn you into a bug. Yeah. Or, literally, like, make you a Mario video game character using the power glove. Yeah. To, like, play you like a video game character.
I do want to talk about the hospital, just this specific scene where the stoner guy, like, meets a Freddy caterpillar guy.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, and he has, like, a little hookah, and the guy, like, slithers away, and he's like, wait! And then Freddy, as a caterpillar, possesses this guy
by jumping into his mouth.
Mm-hmm. And then he pours all of the Hypnosil down the drain, fills up fucking tranquilizer things with syringes, and then he faces off Freddy, or he faces off against Jason. That's, like, what he basically is, like, standing there in the body of the stoner. Everyone's running. They're like, come on, man. And he's like, let me deal with this, bitch. And then he injects Jason with fucking tranquilizers to, like, fucking fight him in the dream. And then we get the first Freddy vs. Jason battle.
So, Freddy has always said bitch. I think he used bitch in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's been like one of his lines is like he calls you a bitch at the end of whatever he said, his one-liner. But in this movie, it's like they'll have it be like 2 lines back to back where Freddy says bitch. Like
It's a lot.
From Freddy's last statement to the next time he speaks, it ends in bitch. Like he's always saying bitch in this movie.
Yeah, he really is. I don't know if I feel like the Draft 17, they're just like, let's fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Let's just really up the bitches in here.
Who is Freddy? Well, he says bitch. Okay.
Okay,
perfect. Say that every time.
every time he speaks, add bitch. Oh, but it doesn't really seem to fit here. Just add it. Yeah. Just add bitch. Just do it. So from this battle, we get more of the gang's plan, which is they are going to drive to Camp Crystal Lake with fucking Jason's unconscious body while he's battling with with Freddy. When they're like 15 minutes away, they're going to knock out Lori, who is going to fight with Freddy and try to drag him out of her dream so that Jason and Freddy can face off in the real world, because they think in Crystal Lake because they think that Jason is gonna like beat Freddy in real life. So and
then they also want to lure him to Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Because they believe that all Jason cares about is Crystal Lake.
So
they'll be like, that'll be their problem, that one of them says.
Yeah.
They'll be like, not our problem. We don't live in Crystal Lake.
Yeah, like, basically. So they're driving
They're, like, going to unleash Jason onto Crystal. They're like, we think Jason can win if he gets Freddy in the real world. Or whatever. Yeah. And they're like, but if Jason wins, then he's still going to be alive. Then what do? We got to kill Jason. And they're like, well, he's in Crystal Lake. Yeah, it's their problem. Let him just kill everyone in Crystal Lake.
Well, that's what's going to be how he gets to the fucking lab and then eventually on the spaceship in Jason X.
The Crystal Lake Research Facility.
Yeah, exactly.
Which his only function is to house Jason in chains in the middle of an empty room.
Literally, like, what else would they
Like, what else are they researching?
Yeah.
The lichen like a rock. And then there's just like Jason beside the guy who's like studying like the mushrooms of the area.
They're like, yeah, before this Jason Voorhees character, this was just like a bio research facility where we were just like
we had a fish tank. We had a fish tank, and then Jason started killing too many people, so we just, like, all the funding went to Jason.
Oh my god. I love that. So, they make the drive from Ohio to fucking New Jersey.
Should we
seemingly...
I'm gonna figure out...
Yeah, try to figure out the timing, because it seems like they'd make this drive in about 30 minutes.
So I'm gonna do Springwood, Ohio to Hope, New Jersey. 5 hours and 55 minutes in a car. 6 days walking. So Jason probably walked for 6 days and was seen by no one.
What the fuck? Y'all, that makes
Did he walk or did he teleport?
I feel like...
Because...
He must have had to walk.
But, okay, so in the dream, the nightmare... Pamela, who's actually Freddy, just using Pamela as a dream nightmare thing to convince Jason to come back to life. I don't know. Like, how does Jason come back to life?
It just was
does Freddy just like pick him up and like throw him above ground, like out of hell? Like, what the fuck? Like, how does Jason?
I think it's just like when he sees his mom in this dream, and Freddy, like, I guess Freddy has at least some power to bring... It's something that Freddy did caused Jason to wake up from his grave. It seemed like he was in a grave or something. Which doesn't necessarily...
Well, I guess it did seem like he woke up in Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
And not Springwood,
so
Ohio.
He walked.
Well, I was thinking
he
that
took
maybe...
a lift.
I was thinking maybe what happened was that Pamela Voorhees in the nightmare said, Jason, you must go to Springwood, Ohio and kill. They've been very naughty.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like she says, like, the teens there have been very naughty. Go kill them. It's like Freddy. Freddy's just like, hey, Freddy, it's your mom. Go to Elm Street. Kill the kids.
Bye.
But I would think that after that happened, like, she could just, like, say, okay, now that you're being unleashed from this, like, third dimension, like, this hell, wherever that is.
Yeah.
You're gonna go back to Earth, and I can teleport you into that place, so you don't have to walk. Maybe you hitchhiked.
Yeah. Oh my God. Would you pick up Jason?
Gas, or grass. Nobody rides for free.
Oh my.
Jason's
you pull
bringing
over.
that dump truck.
You pull over. You go, "What's up, my man?" Jason just silently stares at you. You're
Jason's got a cardboard sign that says Springwood, Ohio, with a peace symbol. He's going to Woodstock.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He's wearing a flower crown.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to the plan. So they're driving.
For 6 hours.
For 6 hours. We see Laurie is now in Jason's nightmare where she's at Crystal Lake. And we see basically like Jason's origin story, which is that
very cool.
It was such a cool scene. Basically, group of kids are bullying Jason a fuck ton. They're like putting a bag on his head, reference to the second movie, I think.
Yeah.
And just like calling him names, being whatever. And then we see like counselors, very much like some sort of like this weird surreal like sort of like where they're like drinking, smoking, not paying attention to
they're like
stuff.
fucking on the porch.
Yeah,
like,
one of them
in
is
earshot, in sight of the kids.
Yeah. And then we get the next really problematic fucking thing, which is basically the two counselors that were fucking. The guy turns around and oh, okay. Laurie goes, "Are you coming?" Because
oh God,
she wants to go help the kid that's drowning. She doesn't realize it's Jason at this point. And the guy turns around and it's actually Freddy, and he's like, "I'm trying, but this bitch is dead weight or something."
She's a dead fuck or
she's
something.
Yeah, and I was like, and then you see he's like fucking this like the woman,
which is funny, kind of, because
body.
Remember in part 4, I think, part 4, where Crispin Glover keeps being referred to as a dead fuck.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's scary. And then Laurie runs. She's trying to help baby Jason out
who's
of
actually
the
like
lake.
10 to 12 years old.
11-year-old Jason out of the lake, but Freddy is dragging him down. And then in real life, you see Jason, the unconscious Jason, spitting up water. And they're like, okay, this is a fucking lovely scene. So basically, they're like, we need to give him CPR. And so there's the boyfriend, like Laurie's boyfriend, Will. There's a nerdy guy, and then there's Kelly Rowland. And Lori. And so the fucking nerdy guy's like, well, I have asthma, so I can't. Sorry. And so
Got
Kelly
out of it real
Rowland's
quick.
like, fuck, I have to do this. Literally, so she lifts the fucking mask. He's spitting up water. He's a fucking corpse. It's literally disgusting. Like, picture going mouth to mouth with fucking Jason Voorhees after the shit you know he's been through. Like, disgusting.
Yeah.
Before she can meet her lips to his, though, he does wake up and causes the whole van to crash.
Yeah, like flip. Which might be a reference to Jason Lives.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too when I saw that.
Because it does kind of like fly and turn on its side.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to say that the character design of young Jason is definitely a reference to the Tom Savini design in part 1.
Yes.
It looks like just like him in the face. Like pretty accurately with the prosthetics and everything, the look of the prosthetics. I think the character is just like a little bit like chubbier, which makes sense because Jason is like a really big dude.
Yeah. He dummy thick.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I liked that. I think that was like a good scene. I kind of like wanted to see more of that. I was kind of like, can we just have a remake of Friday the 13th and it's just this, but more of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, like, it would be interesting to see, like, more kid Jason and see, like, the origin story.
Well, I don't know about all that, but...
What if they came out, you know how
I
they
just
have,
mean
like,
I like the way that
that
scene looked and felt, and it seemed like, okay, just do this, but make it a whole movie and just, like, make it a remake or something.
I feel that.
Just the lake setting and the way it looked, everything.
Yeah.
I like the look of this movie even more than... I didn't really like the remake of Friday the 13th, the look of it that much, but I like the look of this movie.
Well, it's cool. This movie's cool because they play with color a lot. Like, certain scenes will be all red, all blue, all green. You know, some scenes will switch. Like, literally in the first Freddy vs. Jason fight scene between them, it switches from red to green. And I remember seeing that and
which
thinking,
makes sense because they're in the Freddy world.
They are in colors. Freddy. Oh, well, there you go. I was thinking, like, why did that switch, like, at that moment? But that makes sense.
I mean, I just thought of that just now, just because red and green are his colors.
Yeah. That honestly makes a lot of sense, so I'll take it. But, yeah, they play a lot with, like, the lighting, the colors. The colors are setting moods. I would say film-wise, like, or aesthetics-wise and cinematography-wise, like, this movie's really cool.
Yeah. Agreed.
All the teens are fine. They go to Camp Crystal Lake. Freddy... Oh! You know, what happens is that Lori's hand gets burned as Freddy is, like, fighting her. So she's able to drag Freddy back into the real world. And that's when Jason and Freddy finally face off for a while. But first they have to, like, run and hide a lot. Like, Jason, like, attacks them. The nerd guy dies by getting flung into, like, a stick thing and then bleeds out. Then Freddy and Jason like, it kind of, like, gets into this, like, Jason is, like, either fucking up the kids or fucking up Freddy at this point.
Yeah.
So Jason and Freddy are now, like, fully fighting. Freddy seems like he's about to win, but then, like, it's just, like, craziness, basically. Like, how would you describe, like, what is that, like, there's this, like, construction thing that, like, Freddy's using to, like, try to kill Jason, where there's a lot of, like, spikes and, like, a slide.
I don't know. That's never been in another movie on Crystal Lake, but it kind of just looks like an industrial area. Like, those are all just things you would see in, like, a factory.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like all of those compressed air canisters, that's probably just, like, argon gas or something.
Yeah.
Like, for a welder or, like, a tool, like a oxyacetylene cutter torch or whatever. Like, he was firing those out. I was like, I don't know if those would fire like that.
Yeah.
Like, I think they'd probably explode.
Yeah. He was trying to pin Jason.
I don't think the air that comes out the end of that thing would be enough to propel. They're heavy as fuck, even when they're empty. Mm-hmm. They're thick because if they explode, that would be really bad.
Yeah.
So that whole scene where he's, like, taking the caps off of those and, like, firing them like torpedoes at Jason is crazy.
Yeah.
And then he, like, jumps up on top of this, like, silo or something and, like, flips, like, a bunch of rebar that's stacked on the top of this, like, high place for some reason down onto Jason, like, stabbing him into the ground.
And then he's like, oh my god.
He swings from the silo.
Yeah, okay, this is funny. When the final thing was he was gonna, like, push a little cart down and, like, really fuck up Jason. Maybe to the point where he, like, gets torn apart or something, which is, like, basically the best you can do with Jason, I feel like. But the cart got, like, stuck. And I think he said, like, give me a fucking break. And then Jason, like, takes one of the things and, like, throws it at him. And then they somehow, like, continue to fight.
Wait.
Okay.
You just gave me a crazy idea.
Okay, what?
Because I was thinking about, like, how Freddy would have to kill Jason.
Yeah.
So based off of the Jason goes to hell logic, like, you have to destroy Jason's heart.
Yeah.
And probably with that ceremonial dagger, which I don't think that
anyone has.
So, how cool would it have been if Freddy just, like, demolishes every part of Jason, and then, like, just all that's left is Jason's, like, beating heart, and he's, like, trying to figure out how to get rid of the heart, and while, like, dealing with his heart, he's possessed to eat the heart, just like... And then Jason possesses Freddy. And then, because Freddy was kind of possessing Jason,
oh my god,
should have gotten into Freddy, and then what kind of fucking crazy mind fuck would that be? Wow. And then Freddy would go on killing, and then that could be how Jason would kill Freddy, because when Jason eventually leaves Freddy's body, it would make him melt and disintegrate, right? Because that's
wow.
That's
Craig. Wow. That's so true.
Do you think you could just kill Jason's heart and kill him, or do you think you need that dagger? I can't remember.
think you need the dagger. I think the dagger.
And does it also have to be at the hands of a VOORHEES has to kill him or something?
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, literally established lore, so, and as we see, Jason's not dead at the end of the...
As we see, they stick to that all the time.
Yeah, Jason's not... Well, Jason's not dead at the end of this, so... But basically, Kelly Rowland starts fucking, like, telling off Freddy, basically calling him a pussy, and basically being like, your dick must be really small. You have all these butter knives on this.
She's like, Jason has a big dick. You have a small dick.
Yeah, that's basically it. And then Freddy basically points to behind her, and Jason's just behind her.
And kills her.
And he fucking swings a machete in her so hard that she, like, slams against a tree. Then Freddy and Jason continue to fight, and meanwhile, the plan is that Laurie and Will are just gonna fucking blow their asses the fuck up. And so, because there's, like, a fuck ton of propane, like, by the lake, weirdly. Like, canisters and canisters and canisters. This camp is, like, not up to code.
They have to be at some, like... Yeah, it has to just be, like, somewhere, you know, in rural areas, I guess, like, out in the middle of the woods, there's usually, like, those type of factory places, so maybe that's that vibe.
Maybe, but, yeah, basically, they explode them both, but both obviously, like, survive. So then they get more... It's kind of, like, a lot of, like... Do you think that they're about to die, and then they come back, and they... Like, it's just them, like, fucking killing each other, basically. Jason, I think, stays in the water. He's...
Yeah, now he can go in the water, and it's okay.
Freddy leaves the thing... Doesn't, Laurie chops off Freddy's head. A la fucking Alice from the first film decapitating Pamela.
Did she charge at him in slow motion? Oh, I didn't remember that.
So, that's cool. So, Freddy's body and head fall in. We see Jason's body sinking as well. And Laurie throws the machete in the lake, and then her and Will walk off into the fucking sunset. The final scene plays Jason's theme, Jason's motif. And Jason is walking out of the lake, and he is holding Freddy's head. And Freddy's head looks dead, and you're like, hell yeah. So Jason won. And then you see Freddy, kind of like his eyes open again, and he winks at the camera, and then that's the end.
So Jason is... They don't even care about Jason. They're like, whatever. Like, all of our problems are over.
Yeah.
All of our friends died, but...
But I guess...
Jason is still alive, and it's okay.
Yeah, like, literally, it's just kind of like, this plan... I feel like there's just no winning for the characters, because, like, Jason will still live and kill a bunch of fucking people. Freddy, I mean, maybe they at least will be done with Freddy, but I think people will know who Freddy is now, and that was his goal. So it's just kind of like...
Or the Freddy wink could be more of like an Inception type thing, and that whole scene was in a dream.
Oh my fucking god.
And that's why he's still alive, because it was all a dream, all a Freddy dream.
What? Bro, don't do this to me. But that brings us back to, like, this is probably a Freddy movie. If that's the last shot we see is Freddy winking. That's, like, tying it all in a neat little bow, being like, this is Freddy Krueger's movie. Well,
it's not Jason versus Freddy.
That's true. So...
I think they equally get, like... At first I was like, this is definitely just, like, a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Yeah.
Because it starts there, and it just seems like that, like the music and everything. It's like the first thing you hear. It's not some new score. It's like the Nightmare on Elm Street music, and they're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street things for the first half of the movie. But it transitions slowly over to being more of a Jason movie.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you watch the movie in reverse order, you would think it was a Jason movie.
That's true.
Like, you start with Freddy and in Elm Street, and then like Jason is introduced, and then Jason gets some kills, and it like transitions from like all Freddy to some of both, and then it's like mostly Jason in Crystal Lake, kind of. Freddy's there too, but it seems more of like a Jason in his element, and we had like Freddy in his element.
But I would say we had Freddy in his element for like 80% of the movie, and the last 20% was in Jason's element. That's why I'm like, for the most part, we're in Elm Street dealing with Freddy, kind of.
Yeah. True.
Even though Jason
and it's Elm Street characters with like things at stake.
Jason does the most kills, but
Does he?
yeah.
But also you have to think that, like, think about it like this. All of the characters that Jason kills are people Freddy wanted to kill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Freddy willed that to happen.
Yeah, but...
Like, it's not like Jason is killing camp counselors at Crystal Lake. He's killing Elm Street people that have nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Because
that's
Freddy
true,
wants
but,
that. That's
yeah.
They're working towards Freddy's goal of
Yeah.
killing these Elm Street kids.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's true. Speaking of kills, what was your favorite kill?
So I think in general it's just going to be the whole corn maze Jason killing scene where he just goes on a rampage and kills like 20 ravers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And does it while on fire and lighting the corn maze on fire and throwing a flaming machete.
Yeah.
I think that's hard to beat. He kills like 10 people in that one scene, which you've never seen him like not just pick one by one off.
Yeah.
That's what he always does. So to see him kill like 10 people like he's some tank or something, like he's at war with these like kids.
These like children fucking raving.
It's like 300 and Jason is like in like war.
Yeah.
It's like just Jason like attacking anyone he can. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And the fold out mattress scene.
Yeah. I would say I would definitely agree with all of that. I love the fucking like stabbed a ton and folded in half. The fold out mattress scene was one of the cool, like, I really like that kill. Also, like, helped that the guy was, like, a fucking douche canoe, but, it was, like, a very classic Friday the 13th kill as well, like, with, Gibbs in the shower, like, huh? What? Like, a post-coitus kill as well, so, do you want to go ahead and give it some raties? So
out of 5 finger blades.
what do we give?
Is that what you would call those?
Yeah.
Out of 5 finger blades.
Butter knives.
Butter knife fingers.
I think I would give this 3.5 butter knives in the
No halfsies.
Okay, so I would give this 3.
Really?
I'll round down. Obviously, I love this movie. It's really great. I also thought the plot was really good. Characters are fun. It's a fun movie. Definitely something I would want to like watch again with friends. Very fan servicey. Love that shit. Love the references to all of the previous films that we know and love. Gonna knock off some points for the general, like, I don't know, not kosher scenes. Don't love those. But yeah, besides that, like, I mean, all of the death scenes were cool. I thought that the way that they introduced Freddy and Jason was pretty cool. Would be interested to hear more about the Freddy cult, but you know, I think that, you know, with all the rewrites and trying to get this movie made, like, obviously it's a lot of pressure to make this movie, and I understand that. So while it's not perfect by any means, like, it's still good and definitely like worth a watch.
So I'm gonna give the movie 4 finger blades out of 5, a little bit higher than Hayley's rating, just because this is my first time I am seeing this movie, so I've seen it one time now. As we just watched it today, still pretty fresh, and I was just constantly from scene to scene surprised at how much I liked it.
Yeah.
Sometimes with these movies, like, the plot is so like not predictable, like, but you know what to expect from these movies so much, and you just expect, like, you look for good kills, like good cinematography. It's like overall vibes. So from scene to scene, I'm kind of watching these movies like, could this be better? You know, could they show more gore, like do cooler effects, or could it have been a more interesting kill? Is this like enjoyable to watch, or am I bored? And I kind of just like watch these movies looking for like enjoyability, and from scene to scene, it was like solid all the way through. I thought the plot was, you know, it's wacky and ridiculous, but it's also called Freddy versus Jason, and they're trying to cross over two worlds that aren't supposed to be in the same universe. So
yeah.
Of course it's going to be wacky, but you know, I bought all of their dumb excuses for why things made sense, whereas maybe like Jason Takes Manhattan or something, there's no real explanation for some of the plot devices that are brought up and then never referenced again, or like the fact that Jason just like melted into a child and we're supposed to believe that that's real, that really happened. You know, like,
yeah.
That really frustrates me.
Yeah.
Obviously. But, you know, at least what they did with the lore of these two worlds, they like blended it together pretty well. I think it would be a 5 out of 5 if Freddy ate Jason's heart.
Yeah.
I think if
it
was a fake out, imagine this. The movie ends, you think Freddy won because he blows Jason to smithereens, just like at the beginning of Jason Goes to Hell. You see a gore fest splatter of Jason, and then Freddy like says a one-liner or something, maybe like holding Jason's heart in his hand, and then credits roll, new metal song plays, you watch all the credits, and then after credit scene, it's like Freddy like poking Jason's heart with his finger or something, and then ends up like shoving it into his mouth, and then you see him get possessed, like Jason Goes to Hell style, and then
that would be good.
That's the end of the movie.
That would be so
I'd be like,
good.
okay, so it's still both.
Yeah.
It's not like one of them actually won.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea, dude.
Okay, well, that's not a thing that's ever going to happen.
Okay,
but
well, Sean.
I want to see more.
At Sean.
No, let's get Adam Marcus on the project.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because Adam Marcus loves the Jason heart since he invented it.
Yeah.
What if, and then Freddy, the only way Freddy can kill Jason's beating heart is he has to possess a VOORHEES and then make a glove with the special knives.
Oh my god, and then, the fucking baby Stephanie.
And Freddy's baby as well. Remember Freddy's baby and that carriage he had for him?
What the fuck? Alright, we're getting off the rails. So, that was Freddy vs. Jason. Y'all, we have one more.
And it's a remake, so we're actually done
with all of the original story.
Hopefully one day they'll add to these instead of... I feel like... I mean, there have been almost 10-year... Like, there was like a almost 10-year gap from Jason Goes to Hell to Jason X, right? It was like 8 years or something, and before that there was like a 10-year gap too. Mm-hmm. From Manhattan to, right? Or maybe 4 years. There's been big gaps before. I feel like they could just act like no time has passed and just pick it right up.
I would say, like, do you think that they would ever do, like, a Leatherface approach where it would just be, like, Jason? Like, it would literally be called Jason. And it would just be, like, origin story and then, like, a profile of Jason, basically.
I mean, I could see that, but
also that wouldn't be
I don't know why you would have to.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, MPGP_podcast. And please like, review, subscribe to us on all the different platforms that we're on. Until next time, I'm Hayley.
I'm Craig.
Bye.